So I'm sat here thinking how hilarious it was that I walked into the pub after this bloke had assaulted me. And I went back in the pub and I just rolled a spliff, and I gone into the pub. I walked up to them. I told them that I'd reported him to the Wiltshire Constabulary for assaulting me outside the establishment. She gave me a real strange look, and then I walked out. I saw some fairly large women with a little boy, and I said, "Oh," and I swore at that point, and I said something about the child. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be like that in front of the child." And then I looked over at him. I put my spliff in my mouth at the front door. I lit it. I opened the door and I just looked over at him and said, "You don't want to be eating that shit. You want to be smoking this shit," and walked out the fucking pub. And proceeded to get the bus. So I thought that was quite funny. Just something that popped into my head that I'm not sure I shared on camera, but I think that's hilarious to share on camera. What was his name? Jamie. Fucking idiot. He took a disliking to me 2-3 days ago when I was talking to some people in there. And then I went and stood at the bar on my own. And he just gave me, I'd literally only had that much out of my pint. And he said to me, "You alright, mate?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm alright, mate." He went, oh, it's just that you stood there. It's a fucking bar, Jamie. That's what it's supposed to. That's why it's got a bar on it, so you can lean on it. In the old days, they had seats, stools. It reminds me of when I was younger. What was the bar? Revolution. And I used to go in there, and there was this nice blonde barmaid behind. She was my age-ish, a bit younger. And I went to the bar one day, and I'm in the pub with some friends. I think it was Friday afternoon after the officers had kicked out, and I said I was just talking to her. I can't even remember what I was talking to her about. I was getting somewhere though, and I basically heard from across the bar, "Will you stop chatting up my barmaid, because I'll have to throw you out if you keep chatting up the barmaid." And I was like, "Mate, what are you talking about? I look at her. She's stunning. Why would you employ her if you didn't want people to talk to her?" Which is what you have to be, a barmaid. You have to talk to people all the time, whether you like them or not, right? So it's not an easy job to do. It's not everybody's. It's not a good look on everybody, It's like day drinking. Where did I see that? EastEnders, I think. Yeah, day drinking. It's not a good look on everybody, and neither is that. So, yeah, Jamie, Weatherspoons, Sedans, Swindon, Wiltshire, SN1 probably. No, 2, SN2. Yeah, so I think to myself, is that SN2? Yeah, I just think to myself, I was lucky I didn't hurt him by punching him, and I can't do that anyway, but I was lucky that he didn't hurt me by pushing me into a fucking door, or my freedom by having the police come along and arrest me for something I didn't even fucking do. All I did was complain in a manner which I thought was quite reasonable. I didn't have a go afterwards. I was quite pleasant afterwards, and a friend walked in, and I was going to go and sit with him, and all of a sudden she says, "I can't serve you anymore." I was like, what are you talking about? She went, "The way you spoke to me earlier, it's not your choice to take offence over the food. You just go back and sort the problem out with the chef, or you give me a refund. You don't take offence to how I complain. You know, I'm paying money, whether it be a shit pub or not. Right? I'm paying money for the purpose of exchanging cash for food. So, in the end, I had to get a refund. But I got to wait 3 days or some shit to get the actual refund back. So I couldn't spend it again, which I needed to. So, yeah. I starved today, basically. I starved because I sent my food back and then I never got the money back. Right? Weatherspoons. I starved. I still haven't eaten. No, tell a lie, I had some chips. Yeah, I did have some chips today. Right? But I haven't eaten anything because your policy is to refund people later when they've just paid for the last fucking meal that they can afford in your shit pub where people like homeless people can sit for a cup of coffee and refill from 11 till 11 if they want to, right? And you're complaining to me that I'm paying for the food that you're serving, which is dog shite. So who the hell's JD Weatherspoon anyway? I mean, he dominates every high street in the country. And his fucking toilets. It's a well-known fact. I'm not even bringing up something that you don't even know yourself, right? The toilets are a mile away every pub you go in. They're either upstairs, around corners, down corridors, other side of the fucking town. They're literally so far away that you've got to get a head start before you need that facility. Yeah. What other? Oh, no entertainment. Gambling. That's it. They got no entertainment. I played a guitar in there when I was at college once in the same pub. No, it wasn't the same pub. It was a Weatherspoons though, in the Savoy, and they actually come up to me and said, "You can't play." I can't even play the guitar anyway, but they said you can't play a guitar in here because we haven't got an entertainment license. So, I mean, that was a funny few years drinking in there, but in college days. But yeah, no entertainment. Right? Will it kill you to have some music in a Weatherspoons? I don't want to hear the shit that these fucking homeless people are talking about, or these old biddies and old dears that have come out for a coffee that they can possibly graduate onto alcohol. That's why they don't go to a coffee shop. You know, and then you got old boys and that in there. I mean, they're not all that bad. That guy I was talking to yesterday, early this morning, 91 years old, Don or something like that. His name was. I met a few people yesterday, so I can't remember all the names. But real nice bloke actually. I hope he comes and talks to me again. I hope, and if he does, I hope he's as pleasant as he was when he was having a drink. Because you know, it was nice of him to comment that he's seen me earlier on the bus, and he didn't understand how these headphones work because they weren't connected to anything, which I've explained before. But yeah, real nice chap, real nice bloke. Reminded me of like my granddad or something, or someone else's granddad. But unfortunately, he's round here somewhere, and I'll probably never see him again. you know, because I'll probably never be on that same bus. I'll never be in the same pub again because of what happened this morning. Circumstances are that I just had a conversation for 5-10 minutes with probably a lonely old man that probably finds it hard to meet new people because they're probably not offensive but offensive. They you know, they push him away because he's old and maybe he's dithering on about his old life or whatever. I don't know. But if you just sit and listen to these people, you know, they got some good stories. And you can't just write anybody off because of age. Because one day you'll be there, and you know, I don't want to be pushed aside by society because I haven't got enough money, or pushed aside from society because I didn't do the right thing in investment or whatever, and I'm poorer than friends, poorer than friends. So they look down at you. I actually had a friend once, Denison. He said to me, "We're going out to the pub," and those days, and still now, I don't have a lot of money, and he said to me, "I'll buy you a pint." He said, "Oh, you're all right when you've got money, but when you haven't got money, you know, you don't. I don't really like being around you." I was like, "Well, if that's the way it is, I'll come and drink my pint. Probably get another one out of you because you probably want one yourself. But we'll probably and this is the last time I actually spoke to him. I think because he's saying to me, a friend of school days, saying because I haven't got money, he doesn't want to be around me. But wait till I do have money, and you come to see me, and I just go, fuck off, mate. Yeah, lucky you don't get one of these, motherfucker. Whoever you are, I can't remember who I'm talking about. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know, that was what he said to me, and I was a young, impressionable type person, and I took that quite offensively in the eyes of our friendship. So it does occur to me that I don't think I actually spoke to him again. I saw him a couple of times in shops and stuff later on in life, but both ignored the existence of each other. So showed his true colours, but you know, money's not everything. You see, yes, I want some, but I don't need money to breathe and get up every day and get out the house and go and meet people and fight and fuck and do whatever these people do that aren't just sat in their houses, you know. I nearly thought about selling my TV because I don't watch it. It's on, but I don't even know what it is that it's on. I just flick on one channel and leave it on anyway. So I got rid of Sky. Sky, 800 channels. You watch 5. Or 5 genres. Let's put it that way. You know, you'll have your soaps, you'll have your comedies, you'll have your crime, true crime. There's another one. Yeah, TV shit. Turn it off. Put some music on. That's what I've always got these on my fucking neck. Have some music. It's much better. Yeah. Well, that's what I got come on here to say actually. So there's not much more I can think of, and it's weird because I normally be waking up at 4 in the morning, but it's actually 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been up for 24 hours ish, contemplating my next moves, looking on the internet, sending out emails, doing the stuff that people do during the day that I don't have time to because I'm always running about with no fucking car. But it's not everything. You can get around without a car. You can breathe without money. You can survive without food. You can go a long time without water. You can go a long time without sleep, but it's detrimental to your health. It's a form of torture. It's sleep deprivation. It's what the CIA use and stuff like that. So when they're doing waterboarding and stuff like that, that's the rumours that they used sleep deprivation on prisoners, keep them awake for 3 days, starve them almost, and then interrogate them. Yeah, so I've been awake for many hours, many days. I think I stayed up for a week once, but I was high on powder and fucking grass. But alcohol, not too much alcohol though, because that just made me sleep. So I wouldn't have been drinking too much. Not when we started on the fucking wine in the first place. It wasn't wine. It was what do you call that stuff? Oh, I can't remember what they call it now. I think it begins with P. I can't remember what they call it. Pinot? No, it wasn't. It wasn't a wine. It was a fizzy wine. Anyway, that's how that week started. Ended with a manic depressive episode from the person I was participating it with, and they took their medication and they went bang like that. As soon as they took their medication, they just stopped in their tracks. Everything just stopped. They stopped talking. The person fell back in the chair and started falling asleep and snoring for the next 12 hours. But he kept waking up and moving around, and I'm just sat there watching TV. And then he gets up and goes to bed, and then I think for another couple of days I'm still there. But it was he corrected me. I thought it was 3 days or 2 days, and he said no, it was a week. So I wasn't up completely. I was half conscious, I think, falling asleep, but I was still motoring on. That wasn't that long ago. It was a few years ago. So I haven't done that for a long time, but this is the thing. It's now the reverse for me. I need to get back to sleep and get out of this mentality of the way that it was in hospital, which is me getting up at this time of the morning, making a shitload of coffee, and staying awake all day until midday, and then falling asleep after a walk for a bit of exercise. And that's all you can do. But I'm not in that situation, so I'm struggling to have a normal sleep pattern, and that's why I smoke as well, so I can sleep. So unfortunately I've had a bit of drink today, a couple of Jack Daniels and Cokes. So it's not unfortunate, it's fortunate, because it will make me a little bit drowsy and fall asleep if I close my eyes. What I don't want to do is miss out on all these emails that should be coming through tomorrow because I'm asleep. So I'll probably have to set an alarm and only get a couple of hours, Kit. Nobody's contacted me back today on the phone. I've had a couple of emails, but I'm supposed to be waiting for quotes, locations, professional bloody mechanics, you know, mobile mechanics, stuff like that. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity of buying this car, so I've really got to try and find some way of getting some money to this young lad who's selling it. I think it's his car, but he probably wants to do up the one that he's just bought, or maybe he just wants something new because he's 19 and he wants a better car because he's been driving 2 years or so. Or did he say he hasn't learned to drive? Who told me they hadn't learned to drive? Somebody told me they hadn't learned to drive today. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but I was going to suggest that I might help them, but they weren't the right person for me to help, I don't think, so I didn't offer. But I can't remember who it was, so it wasn't that important. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to get some kit. We can start afresh tomorrow. I'll put those decals on. I didn't make a video, it was getting dark. It was dark, I couldn't have seen it anyway. So I just left it. Almost a perfect peel, but I had one little bit fall off, and luckily it stuck to the body of the car. So I used my finger to move it back into a reasonable position, and then just pressed on it and stuck it down and rubbed it. But it was one little piece that was not hot, stuck down as I peeled the backing off. So I was lucky there, but it wouldn't have looked too bad. It would have only been me that would have noticed it, and it would have been me that had to deal with that for the rest of his life. So, or the rest of the time that I owned the car. So I don't think I could have handled that. It would have wound me up. Just seeing it all the time, knowing that it didn't quite go how I wanted it to, because it was an inferior product. Maybe it was me. Maybe I didn't rub that part down. That's probably more like it. But you know, you want them to stick once you rub them, not have to miss a piece and then it fall off, sort of thing. But so I've got those on. I'm now gonna go offline and have a look at some internet shopping. Put something in my baskets for later, because I need to now think about what I'm going to do with this new one that possibly I might be buying. If they can't get it working, I ain't fucking buying it. Yeah, all I want it to do is drive, stop, go fast, stop, go around corners, stop, steer, drive, and brake. That's it. That's what I need it to do. So any car will do, but this one I like, so I'm hoping that this is the one that I'll end up with. But it is what it is. It's just a car. There's plenty of them about. They're not special. You might think that you get a special one because somebody put a sticker on it, or they put a badge on it, or they put something different to the normal standard ones. But really, it's just the same car, you know, with a different trim, a different colour, a different this, a different that. So, you know, you're not losing out by having a normal car without these special badges on, because they don't really mean anything. They're pointless. I can't even find out what the badge means. It's the same initials as my father, so I just think, well, it's a tribute to him. So, you know, he can have it one day. But yeah, it's a good car. It's a good car. it's done less than 100,000, so that's okay, but it's just on the border. So it's on the borderline. So it's almost done 100,000, which is still okay. I'm not going to put more than 20,000 miles on it in a lifetime, I don't think. So we'll see. But yeah, they're good cars. It's finding the good ones that I'm finding I struggle with. So finding this one in the town that I live in is a bonus. I just hope the guy's a young guy, but he's genuine to his own promise, his own word, right? Because you got to learn young to be trusting and trusted. So yeah, you got to learn young in this world because it's ooh baby, baby, it's a wild world. Try to get by just on a smile, girl. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. Everything, just like a smile, girl. Yeah.